Hello, thank you so much for coming back. Um, how are you doing today? Tell me.
I'm doing pretty good today. Um, I know last week we talked about me starting the boxing, punching um, something for 5 minutes a day, and I actually kind of like that. And I did some more research, and there's actually this tournament that's coming up in March of next year that I kind of want to enter, but
Hmm.
I don't know if I can.
Well, first of all, let me applaud you for sticking to the plan and practicing what we agreed on. I really appreciate that, and I also would like to validate you for coming back and sharing this with me. You seem very enthusiastic. You really seem much happier than last time, and that makes me happy too. Um, well, let's discuss this tournament thing. Um, have you given a thought to what it would entail? Sort out a trainer or something, and um, how do you think that would make you feel if you did that tournament?
Well, I think I would like it. I think,
Hmm.
being able to actually hit somebody, well, where I'm supposed to hit somebody would make me feel good. Um,
Let me just
I,
tell you though, because I do need you to understand this, that if I ever were to feel that you were a threat to anyone, that I would have to report that. You understand that, right? So please tell me if if this is not just about the tournament, but if it's more than that. You do need to tell me. Can we agree on that?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So go on. You were saying, I hear you say that you feel very excited about this prospect of doing this tournament.
Right. Well, I do know that it's a class every Saturday at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
It's an hour long. I was just need uh, you know, of course, money, and I need the equipment. And there is this one trainer who seemed pretty good. I mean, I seem like I can trust him, and like I said, I think it could work for me.
Hmm. What is that attracts you in this tournament?
Uh, well, I think when I was like looking online, I saw some of the other kids, and it seemed like they were having fun. It wasn't boring. It wasn't like they were being lectured. They were actually doing something. Like I could actually see them punch and you know in a ring and doing stuff.
Right.
It's just not sitting in a classroom, and it seems like the people actually listen to them. So I feel that they will listen to me. So.
Well, we mentioned last time that you don't have a whole lot of support system and friends that you really can share your passions with, and maybe that would be a good place to find some friends who are interested in something that you're interested in.
Yeah, I do think I would meet some people. I don't know if we would become friends because they are a little bit taller and more muscular than me, but I think it's a start.
It seems that you're concerned that they wouldn't become your friends because they're a little different in their physical build than you.
Yeah, I mean they're a lot taller than me, and I know we talked about this last week you know with the whole feeling powerless. Um, but I think that it would just be kind of challenging because I'm not the most athletic build as
Hmm.
you can imagine. But I think if I was just there and if I enter as soon as possible, I would be ready for the tournament.
Well, I'm proud of you for entertaining this idea, even though you describe yourself as not being athletic. That's a very courageous thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm not the most athletic person, but I can hold my own. You know.
Well, I want you to give credit for yourself for this, okay? Because it's always, it's always challenging to do something that's outside of our comfort zone, and that's exactly what you're trying to do. And I do want you to give credit for yourself for that. I certainly do, and I really, Jen, I really am proud of you. That's great. Um, and how about our other goal that we discussed last time? How did the Josh situation developing?
Yeah, that one didn't go quite so well. I did it for the first like 3 days, and at first it was working, but then it just kind of didn't work.
Tell me about those 3 days when you did try it.
Okay, well, the first day I did it, I did what we said. When I saw him, I closed my eyes, I breathed, I straightened up my spine, and it worked the first time. Because he wasn't near me, but he was close to me. The second day, he came up to me and it was like really close, like almost
Hmm.
you could smell his breath type of close.
Right.
And that didn't quite work so well because I could just I start to smell him and not because I was trying to, but that's because he just kind of smells and and that just didn't work.
Hmm.
But I didn't. But I said I'll try it again tomorrow. So that last day, um, yeah, he started talking and it just went south. It did not work. I'm sorry, I tried. It just
No, I'm very, you know, pleased that you tried it, and it sounds to me that he feels really frightening to you.
well, yeah, I mean, because you know, I can do it at home because I close my eyes and nobody's there. But when you're I guess when you're visually in a crowd of people and you start to do it, you don't know what's happening. So I don't know who's coming. I don't know if somebody's behind me. I don't know if I don't know they could be doing all sorts of stuff, and I just don't know because for that minute I'm closing my eyes.
What if we made some adjustment to this technique, and if you only close your eyes when, before you approach him, or when he's still far, just to sort of collect yourself, but not when he gets closer, or not when you're actually approaching him. How do you think he would feel about that?
Well, I think I tried it the second. Well, I think I tried the second day like that when I saw him coming, so I started going ahead and close my eyes. But even in that moment, I just felt
Hmm.
like there was just people like I didn't know what going on.
Hmm.
So I would close my eyes and then I hear things. People were like bumping into me,
Right.
so it didn't quite work.
Well, it's scary when people come into your space and you don't know what's going on.
Right, and I know we talked about it last time when people enter my space and then it goes kaboom. um, and I wish there was a way to be able to let people around my space without me going off.
And that feeling of people entering your space, that comes up with others as well, right? Not just with Josh. It comes up a lot, right?
Right, right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it tends to be with anyone, but particularly him because I just can't really stand him. But we talked about it last week, so I don't want to put
Tell
that
me
out.
more about that. Tell me more about that feeling of your space being invaded.
Um, I don't know. I guess I've always had that feeling where when somebody comes in my space, it's like I go into defense mode because I don't know what their intent is. I don't know what they think. I don't know what they're going to do, and I just don't really trust them when they get that close to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trust is hard, right? Trust is hard.
Yeah, it is. You just don't know what people are going to do these days. So I kind of try to distance myself and try to keep my space.
What happened in the past? when you let someone into your space?
Uh, well, well, usually I didn't like because they either always kind of smelled or they always put like the saliva or it was sweaty or uh, you know, or they try to touch me and I mean touch in terms of like pushing me, and that's when I become defense. That's when I want to start punching back and hitting back, and I
So I was asking you about that space that you feel that is often invaded by others, not by just Josh, but by others. And I was wondering if in the past, what happened when somebody invaded that space.
right. Well, like I just said, when somebody enters my space, it's usually like either they start to touch me in terms of like pushing or shoving, or they bump into me, and then I start going to hit them back, basically. And also, sometimes they had that type of smell to them, or they always like kind of sweaty, or they always kind of coughing and breathing on you, and it's just ugh.
You describe a lot of tangible, like physical experiences. Um, what about even more? Because you seem to be describing experiences that are relatively recent, right, at school. Um, that was a cat, I'm sorry. Has anything happened even before that you can remember where you would experience those salivas or smells or sweats and those things that you described that really really trigger they really trigger you?
So that's like all the time. I mean, that's happened to me ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old. That's always been somebody just be in my space and they just be doing all that stuff. And man, especially if they start to like if they start to smoke and that smoke be in your face, or if they just you know
Is there anyone in particular whom you remember which experience was particularly disturbing to you?
all of them. I mean, I don't know why people have a strange thing of wanting to be in your space. It's like with the hugging, I can't stand the hugging. I keep telling people I am not a hugger, and they come up to me wanting to hug me. It drives me crazy. And I guess that has been happening ever since before I was wearing diapers.
Okay, but you don't remember anyone who was not just an acquaintance, but maybe close close to you or someone whom you knew fairly well, with whom that bothered you, or it's mostly just strangers or
No, I
everyone.
mean it can be family members, strangers,
Right,
you know, any and everybody. I mean, if the president came and hugged up to me, I would just be like, ugh,
right.
it doesn't make a difference. It's just everybody. I just can't take it. It trips
So
me.
it sounds like um, when everything explodes, to use your word, it really happens when people come into your space, and that's a reaction to that invasion of space.
Right, right.
And I know we went through this before, but this is really important, and I would like to do it again. Um, please tell me what what is that you would like to change? Like if you had a magic wand and you could do anything, now what would you like to change that you have power over? Okay, so just focus on things that you have power and you can actually change. Um, and that includes what our sessions as well. What would you like as an end result of our therapy sessions? What would you like to achieve to change in your life and in yourself and the way you live your life?
I think I would like to be able to communicate without being mean or angry or aggressive that I don't like to be, touched. I like my personal space.
Mhm. That's a new word for us, communication. So you want to be able to communicate without feeling angry and without aggression.
Right, and I also like people to listen to me. That's the main thing.
Right, right. Well, remember we focus on things that we can control. So I try to keep the things on on uh, on actions that you can take, and and let me ask you, what do you think would happen with the other people listening? If you could master that skill that you just described to me, that you would want to master, the skill of communicating without aggression and without anger.
I think that I would get in less trouble. I think that people will kind of respect me,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I wouldn't come off as like that mean person.
Mm-hmm. And what would happen with their listening to you and seeing you? Because that was something that came up a lot in the past conversations, that you really want others to listen to you and you really want them to see you. What do you think would happen with those?
I think if people start to listen to me, I think I'll be better off. I think that once they listen to me, I think my day can go a whole lot better. I think um, you know, a lot of what I try to express or what I try to convey will be received. Therefore, um, I can get a lot more things done, and I can probably, with people, with other people.
That's all true. What I really meant was that, let's suppose you manage that skill that we discussed, that that you learn how to communicate without aggression and anger. Uh, do you think they would be able to listen to you better, and see you more if you could do that?
I think they would. I think so.
So it would work out then well all around if you could somehow. And that's a fantastic goal, and I really applaud you for that. That's a very important role to master. So our goal is now, we went from, remember that in prior sessions it was primarily how to control your anger, and now we got to another goal which is related, and I think it's a fantastic goal of how to communicate in a way that people can see you in your totality and listen to you better, and because you're not so angry, and there is no any violence present. Um, does that sound right to you as I'm summarizing this to you?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I want.
Okay. So I know we already had two SMART goals, but let's just see if maybe you thought about this, and maybe you had whatever thoughts on this since we talked. Is there do you have any ideas of what you might be able to do to get to that goal?
Uh, and we're talking about the communicating thing, right?
Right, right.
Uh, well, I do know that there's some classes that can teach me maybe how to communicate. Um, I don't know exactly the time. I think it may have to be like after school.
Mhm.
Um, that's about it, honestly.
Well, I hear you say you want to learn, you want to become better at that. That's great.
Right, I do. The only problem I see is that since it's being at school where, the majority of my problems occur, that I will most likely experience some of the problems as I'm trying to address my problem.
Mhm. Right. Well, but you just brought up an idea that is perfectly doable. Um, you could find a class that helps with communication. Well, and you could choose whether that's about just generally communicating to others, or whether that has to do with anger management. Um, how do you feel about any of these?
Um, well, I feel like it's possible. I think maybe if I wasn't like at the exact school or where it's being taught at, maybe if I was at a different location, then
Right.
maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
You don't want others whom you know on a regular and meet a regular basis to be present when you acquire this thing, because it's vulnerable, right? It's a vulnerable position to need to learn this.
Well, it's bad, but also I just don't want to see other those that I know trigger me while I'm trying to
Right.
learn.
And which is very smart, which is a very smart thought. Yes. Um, so we need to find then a class that is outside of your school system for communication. Um, so you think we could establish that as a specific goal for us?
Um, I think I like that one. I think that one could work.
Are you willing to commit to it? Can I have a verbal commitment that you will commit to that? You will find a class that teaches communication.
I think I can do that. I think
Okay.
that's possible.
Well, great. That's awesome. So we have one goal, and of course, finding it entails signing up and going to the meetings. Um, Now, in the meantime, we of course we we still have to deal with the anger issues, right? Um, did you have any further thoughts on your anger outbursts, of what is that you could do, or are you happy with what we found last time, the boxing? You seem to be very enthusiastic about that at the beginning of this conversation.
Well, yeah, I don't think the whole breathing thing didn't work out for me, but I think the boxing helped me vent some of my frustrations out.
Right.
So I think that was kind of, at least if nothing else, I've become tired, but not like extremely tired, but just enough where it's like you know I'm not at like all the way to 10. I'm like at 5 during the day.
Right. So it sounds like you're enthusiastic about the boxing idea, and that you are graduating from just wanting to punch a bag to actually have some interactions with others and do real boxing. So so I guess, how would you feel about establishing that as another goal to find a class? And it sounded to me like you already found one, in fact, right? And commit to go there. So perhaps you can attend that the context next year.
Right. Well, that's that. Yeah, because I mean, the only thing I would have to do is to get the money and then have to register for it. But I think I can do it. I would enjoy doing it. I think I can do it. You know, I do wonder if doing that plus the communication class, is that be too much for me?
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, I can definitely do that boxing class. I know I can do that because it's a weekend and I can manage that. Um, the only thing with the boxing that I'm worried about, because as I said earlier, within an earlier session, I have been taking some medications like with the lithium and the Ritalin doesn't really affect me, but the Respiriden, it does give me headaches, and I just
Hmm.
wonder if I would be able to do that while still taking those
Right, right.
medications.
Well, I I I was actually wanted to ask you about how your because my understanding was that you stopped taking those medications because of your headaches, right? So you're not on any medications right now, correct?
No, well, I talked. Well, my doctor was trying to get me off of them. I wanted to get off of them, but he never really got me off of them, even
Right,
though he says he was.
right, right. How is your concentration problem? Is that still an issue or not so much?
Well, um, it's not actually so much of a problem now
Hmm.
because, like I said, I think what happens is like I was bouncing all over the place when I was at school, and then once I started to do like the whole boxing at home,
Right.
it kind of it eliminates some of that energy. So it's like I'm not so bouncing off the walls now.
Right. Well, I have two medications for you that I could suggest to discuss with your doctor because as you may or may not know, I'm not in a position to prescribe any medication for you. Um, but I can suggest one or two that you may want to discuss with your doctors, especially since you're not happy with the medications that you're taking now. And one of them is called Wellbutrin, which is an antidepressant, and it would help you. It would it would probably help you with some of your anxiety and frustration, which leads up to anger issues. And the other one is Ritalin, which would definitely help you with your concentration problems. And because it has as a short half-life, it would not interfere with your sleeping, which for us is important since another issue that you mentioned once was that you don't sleep very well. So definitely would want to stay away from anything that could cause for you to be too stimulated so that you can sleep well. And you don't have to answer to that. It's just something to think about and something to talk to your doctor about. Um, but if you're not happy with the medication you're taking now, then you might want to think about it. However, if you think your concentration is just fine now and your attention is where it should be, then I would stay away from any medication that you don't have to take, and then maybe you can forget about it, the Ritalin. So, but I just wanted to put this out to you as a possibility. And how would you feel about changing medications or trying anything, or what is your feeling on the whole taking medication issue?
Well, I tried. Well, I told you. Well, I said like in our first session that I take Ritalin, lithium, and I took the Rasputin. So I know the Ritalin doesn't really work for me.
Right.
Um, but the Wellperton, I think that's what you said.
Well,
Well,
yes.
Wellperton, yeah. I hate medications. Um, I've heard about that, but I'm not sure about it. But I'll be interested in it as long as it don't give me headaches or have any strange side effects, and I can manage.
Right. Okay. Well, as I said, just discuss it with your doctor, and then based on what he's telling you, think about it. If you're not happy with your medication you're taking now, then you should definitely discuss that with him because and you said that you did, and um, just discuss it with him again. He should not, tell you that you have to take it even if it doesn't work for you. So um, then that it means that you should change something, whether or not take the same dose or maybe a different medication or not no medication at all. So we have now two goals that we committed to, right? One of them is finding communication class, and the other one is finding a boxing class. And how are you feeling about these?
Well, I know I'm loving the boxing. The
Yes, you mentioned you
communication,
really happy
I,
about
I
the
know I'm
boxing.
loving the
Yeah.
boxing. I'm willing to do this communication to try. It's something I don't maybe necessarily want to do, but I know it's something I need to do.
Right. I'll give it a try, and if it doesn't work, okay, then let's do this then, okay? Let's try one, and let's try it for a month when you attend for 4 weeks the whatever sessions they had, and if it was your idea, so perhaps you will like it. It just seems maybe right now a bit of a challenging concept. And if you don't like it, then we don't have to do it. So um, we can always adjust our our steps that we take to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, which is, as you stated, is to learn to communicate in a way that does not include any kind of violence and aggression, so that people can listen to you and take you in much more fully. Well, our time is kind of up, but before we finish, I would like to also get some feedback as to how you feel about our session. So what is that I'm, and be as candid as you would like. What is that I could do different for you to feel more comfortable, to feel more confident, to achieve your goals and get better.
Well, I think this one was better than the last time. I think these are things that I can do. I know the breathing technique it worked when I was in a private setting, but I think like once I'm out and about, I don't think it really works all too well. Um, but I think these are two that I can work on. And I think this session was pretty good overall. I think.
Is there anything you would like to add that we could do that maybe would make it work even better for you?
Well, would it be wise for me to write this stuff down, or would you write it down? Because I mean, it's a lot of information.
Oh, so you would like some written notes on our goals or the steps that we take?
Yeah, if I could just have something to remember by.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, and I can certainly do that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming in again, and please don't forget to speak to your doctor about your medication, and of course, don't forget your classes. And I appreciate you coming in again, and I will see you next week. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.